How will the assassination attempt on former President Trump impact President Biden and his chances in the 2024 race? Well, for one thing, the calls to replace President Biden as the Democratic nominee have appeared to be taking a back seat. That's according to reporting from Axios. Senior House Democrats said that, quote, "We've all resigned ourselves to a second Trump presidency," and suggested that, quote, the post-shooting atmosphere in the party is too chaotic for internal battles over leadership. Biden has spoken 3 times since the rally on Saturday. He called for unity and unsurprisingly stumbled multiple times. Let's watch.
No violence on our streets. That's how democracy should work. We debate and disagree. We compare and contrast the character of the candidates, the records, the issues, the agenda, the vision for America. But in America, we resolve our differences at the battle box. You know, that's how we do it, at the battle box, not with bullets.
And here he is almost saying, "Make America great again."
So tonight, I'm asking every American to recommit to make America, think about it. What's make
Pollster Frank Luntz is predicting that the assassination attempt will boost Trump's chances at winning the election. He says, quote, "Trump's supporters will be energized. Biden supporters will be demoralized. Every Trump supporter will now be a Trump voter. But some Democrats will end up staying home. That turnout difference is going to be worth 1 or 2%. And that's the election." This has been a disastrous series of political developments for Biden over the last several weeks. It's interesting that the failed assassination attempt against Donald Trump has some Democrats saying we're not even going to bother trying to go forward with the swap Biden out thing because we're not going to win anyway. It seems to be the impression I'm getting from Democrats. Others are saying that's not true. It's wild to me that this Trump becoming even more likely to win now based on what happened. And, we shouldn't exaggerate it. This is still going to be a close election. It's still a very divided country. It's not like Trump isn't suddenly up 50 points in Pennsylvania or something. It's still close in the swing states. He's up, he's winning, but it's still close in the swing states. The election is by no means over. But and what happened to Trump over the weekend does not suddenly change that. Doesn't mean he's going to win like 8,000 electoral votes or something. It helps him. It's not the end. But Democrats are just giving up. They're totally giving up. If what the behind-the-scenes political reporting we're hearing is true, they're totally giving up.
Biden has photos behind him of his family there. It's almost giving like, please, I'm a human too. I have kids. I have a wife and kids. All of the leaders saying, don't do political violence. Political violence is bad. Whenever leaders are shot, is very much giving like French leaders pleading for their lives during the French Revolution. For some reason, they don't care about political violence when it happens to everyday people. But nevertheless, the polling is interesting. We have polling from July 9th through the 12th. So it was after Biden had a chance to address his debate performance, but simultaneously was before the attempted assassination of Trump. And it's in Pennsylvania and Virginia, 2 battleground states. It shows Trump with 48%, Biden with 45%. In both states, also Harris was in a head-to-head matchup in this poll. In Pennsylvania, 47 Harris, 48 Trump. And in Virginia, 44 Trump, 48 Harris. All of these numbers are within the margin of error. As with every poll right now, I think we're all just anxiously waiting to see what these phone calls that I'm sure are going out right now to voters look like following this assassination.
Trump doesn't need to win Virginia. If he ends up winning Virginia, he will be winning in a landslide. He's winning anyway. If he gets Virginia, that means it's over. That means he's going to have won many of the other actual swing states. My understanding of the Biden campaign strategy at this point, to the extent there is one, is that they are giving up on Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. They are assuming that Trump is going to win those states. The Biden strategy to win is basically what Hillary needed to do in 2016. Biden needs to hold on to, because he won them in 2020, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and if he wins those 3, that will give him this narrow victory. Now, the polls there show him, I think, still ahead, maybe slightly in Michigan, Wisconsin, but down in Pennsylvania. And then obviously the most recent news could impact things further. But Biden needs to spend a lot of time there. He needs to send his surrogates there. He needs the kind of voters there. He needs to reassure the working class voters that he has their back and Donald Trump's policies will be harmful for them. I don't know that this existential threat to democracy argument matters as much to the specific kind of voters he needs to bring back into the fold in those states. And whereas Trump's toughness, his surviving his brush with death, his fist pump, all that stuff seems to me very well positioned to designed to position Trump well with those kinds of voters.
I have heard people, mostly Democratic-aligned commentators, say that this event has now quelled all of the voices saying, we need to replace Joe Biden.
Yeah, it has.
No,
why?
Not
why?
me.
I don't know why.
No, it shouldn't. They're saying something that they want to manifest into reality, Robbie. I still want them to replace Joe Biden, even more so now, because how are you going to sound worse than a guy who literally got shot in the head? You look ridiculous. I think they absolutely need to replace Joe Biden now more than ever, because what's the debate going to look like the next time around? He's saying battle box instead of ballot box time and again. And finally, instead of editing the official transcript, it says battle box and in parentheses, ballot box, because that's what we believe Joe meant. But it really paints a picture at a time when we're trying to quell violence that the election will be violent to say battle box. His gaffes could cost us the election.
Even Biden is almost on board with "Make America Great Again." He almost said it during what, prepared remarks? He was just reading a speech there, and he almost said, "Make America Great Again." At this point, I don't know how they could possibly do worse, how things could conceivably end up worse for the Democratic Party. Yes, they should still be. Now, I was saying that even if they were making a hearty effort to swap Joe out, they were still going to fail, because Biden at the end of the day is not going away and wants to continue running for president, is going to do so. I've been very on the record about that. But now they're not even trying anymore. I mean, you could read into that. Maybe they realize they failed. Maybe they're finally listening to Robby and they're like, Robby's right. Nothing we do is going to make Joe Biden not want to be the presidential nominee anymore. All we're going to do is damage his candidacy further, so we're not going to try anymore. I actually think that would be a perfectly rational strategy. It would be better for Democrats if Biden did step aside, but he's never, ever, 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 ever going to do so. And so they might as well resign themselves to having him be the candidate and they should be working to prepare him better, to talk about issues affecting the working class, to talk about the right-wing policies that Trump is going to do, talk about abortion, et-cetera. They need to lean into that. I think they should lean into that more than democracy destabilization, in effect. I don't think anyone's really buying. Certainly, the people already voting for them are buying it. I don't think that's a good outreach strategy. And Donald Trump seems as American and patriotic and committed to beloved American institutions than ever before in terms of the rhetoric he deployed during the debate, in terms of the sort of symbol message he's sending lately. It's just not going to work.
There were a couple things that stood out to me from what the news cycle has forgotten to the benefit of a lot of Democratic strategists. Biden's 59-minute Q&A. He was 55 minutes late for it. But I listened to what he had to say in that key press conference over the weekend that I believe would have been bigger news if Saturday's events didn't unfold. But what he said was, okay, if people at the convention, the delegates, want to cast their votes that would be for me, for someone else, they're at liberty to do so. That was a very interesting thing to hear come out of Joe Biden's mouth. We also heard Joe Biden talk about the economy and how he has the best economy ever, but it was just riddled with enough gaffes that while he did make coherent points, it's not true that Democratic strategists said he sounded like a foreign policy expert or genius. There were points where he talked about closed-door meetings and said, I think I can say this. I think it's fine if I say this out loud, and then proceeded to say what could have been classified information. It was really just a mess, but we'll see what the delegates do now that they have Biden's blessing to do something else.
I think they're going to stick by him, but we shall see. More rising right after this.